In this capitalist world we live in, money is power. Powerful personalities like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos come to mind, but while they may be powerful, they aren't the most powerful. Underneath all these celebrity billionaires lies an empire that's been pulling the strings of America as far back as the 40s. And to make matters worse, you may not have even heard of them. In this video, we're pulling the curtains back on the Koch family, shedding light on every company they control. Keep watching until the end of the video, and you may realize just how much of your money you've given them. Private power. Koch Industries is one of the largest privately owned conglomerates in America, boasting over 120,000 employees and making a little over $125 billion a year. While today they may be earning a few hundred million in their sleep, the foundations of the company still had to be earned, a responsibility carried by Fred Koch all the way back in the 1920s. Fred Koch was an ambitious young man who grew up with a knack for science. A graduate of chemical engineering in 1922 from MIT, Fred was poised to enter the booming oil refinery industry. Bouncing back and forth from engineering jobs, he eventually started his own firm, the Winkler Koch Engineering Company, in 1925. The company specialized in refining crude oil, a process that many companies were doing, but Fred was determined to set his company apart. Just 2 years later, Fred Koch would literally crack the oil refinery code by developing a process called thermal cracking, which revolutionized the industry and, of course, earned him a lot of money. Fred knew that his discovery was going to revolutionize the industry, so in 1940 he stepped away from his previous partnership and started the Rock Island Oil and Refining Company, a name which was admittedly a mouthful, so it was later renamed as Koch Industries. The money kept flowing in and business was good, but Fred knew better. He knew that to be successful in this world, you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. And so, with the help of his sons, Charles and David Koch, they diversified the company. Today, the company's roots run deep in the industries we know and love today. In fact, they may be benefiting you as you watch this video. So to fully grasp how much of a hold Koch has over America, let's take a look at the industries they benefit from. They're on the road. Considering Koch's claim to fame was their thermal cracking method for processing oil, it's only right for them to maintain a hold over the industry. This includes gasoline, petroleum, and any other crude oil byproducts you can think of, all while remaining under the radar, selling their wholesale oil and gasoline products to other companies, looking to slap their label on the gasoline and call it a day. Koch Industries streamlines this even further with companies like Koch Minerals and Flint Hill Resources. Koch Minerals is a subsidiary of Koch Industries that deals with oil and gas exploration, supplying crude oil to Flint Hill Resources, a subsidiary of theirs that handles the processing of the oil. This means that every time you put gas in your car, you're somehow giving most of your money to the Koch family. Now, you might think that the solution to avoiding their power is simple. Just use bicycles. Electric vehicles and other non-gasoline dependent modes of transportation are just as viable, but that doesn't guarantee you're not on Koch property anymore. The reason being that the roads you walk on may actually be owned by Koch too. Flint Hill Resources also supplies the asphalt used on roads, but here's another mind-boggling idea. This asphalt isn't just used for the road, they're in your house. Owning real estate is the American dream. It means that you never have to worry about pesky landlords, and you finally get to do away with monthly rent. But little does everyone know that owning a house means that you may also be providing a steady stream of income for the Koch family. As one of the leading asphalt manufacturers in the world, with their Flint Hill Resources subsidiary, Koch Industries gain a pretty penny every time you decide to use asphalt to repair your roof. But the revenue they get doesn't stop there. Another subsidiary of Koch Industries is a company called Guardian Glass, which specializes in, you guessed it, glass. Every building needs windows, and for their clear pane needs, they often turn to Koch Industries. In fact, most of the New York City skyline is a product of Koch Industries, and their coverage doesn't stop at just building materials. So now that we've gotten the building out of the way, they can't possibly own more of our lives, right? Wrong. Even just a simple trip to the fridge in your house is enough proof that you've given money to Koch Industries. Let's take a look. See that slice of beef you're gonna cook tomorrow? Most likely raised by Matador Cattle, a subsidiary of Koch Industries. But let's say you're going vegan to stop supporting Koch Industries. Nice try. Koch Ag and Energy still owns most of the agricultural products that most manufacturers use. And these are just a handful of the control that the Koch family has over America. We haven't even begun to discuss their tissue paper subsidiary, which we all know sold like hotcakes during the global pandemic. But now that we know Koch Industries owns most of America's lives, the best thing to worry about now is, are we in good hands? Let's face it, power and money changes people. People in power want to stay in power for as long as they can, and the Koch family is no different. Not only have they been working behind the scenes to make sure they take every cent they could from Americans, but they're also working behind the scenes when it comes to political favor. The Koch family has always been right-wing conservatives, but their actions have caused some confusion. While the Koch family has always backed Republican candidates in past elections, the 2016 election was different. While Koch Industries donated close to $400 million in support of the Republican Party, they've been very outspoken against Donald Trump as a presidential candidate, a relationship that they immediately repaired once Donald Trump won the presidency. But as with every Koch family action, there's a hidden agenda. Out of the $400 million pledged by the Koch family, 20 of which went into supporting tax cuts, a political agenda set in stone to increase the amount of taxes that common citizens paid, while the rich remained the same. Paying taxes, of course, was not a problem for Koch Industries, considering a recent leak of business documents show that Koch Industries had been funneling their money through Luxembourg to abuse tax loopholes. This ensures that Koch Industries earn the most amount of money while paying the least amount of taxes, a crime only accessible to the rich. It's starting to become clear that the Koch family is really only into political agendas that prolong their power, so it's time we took a look at some of their political agendas. The first and probably most obvious political agenda that the Koch family advocates for is the denial of climate change. Climate change is something that the world has always been on the fence about, but now with all the research and facts that the scientific community has shown, it seems that climate change is a very real threat to our lives, and the Koch family couldn't care less. One of the leading factors that affect climate change is the use of fossil fuels, gasoline, petroleum, and every other energy source that lets out concerning amounts of greenhouse gases have been the #1 culprit when it comes to climate change. But they've also been the #1 moneymaker for the Koch family. To maintain their biggest source of income, Koch Industries have actively supported and funded organizations that deny climate change. Another of their many political agendas built on their sources of income would be the active lobbying against better government-sponsored healthcare. Then there's the lobbying against minimum wage increases, and the list goes on and on. Whether you're a member of the right-wing or left-wing political party, you have to admit that the ability to sway decisions is a bit concerning. There are tons of wealthy people in America right now with more money than they know what to do with, but none of them come close to the political power that the Koch family has. While the Koch family may have layered themselves under different names and companies to remain hidden to the public eye, their political standing and power over America remain clear as day. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing is up to you.